On the road to Macstock with Dave Ginsberg. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by MacVoices Live, our weekly live panel discussion of what is going on in the Apple space, as well as the larger tech world, and how it is impacting you. Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, or whatever time that is wherever you are, at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV, and participate in the chat, or catch the edited and segmented versions of the show on the regular MacVoices channels and feeds. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we're on the road to Macstock in Crystal Lake, Illinois in July. It's coming up in just a few weeks. I can't believe it's bearing down on us already. But in between times, we are going to continue to try to talk to as many of the presenters as we can get scheduled about what they're going to be presenting, so you have an idea of who you're going to see and what you're going to learn when you join us at Macstock. And we really want you to join us. More on that later. For now, though, we have Mr. Dave Ginsberg back with us as yet again a returning speaker. I have no idea what he's going to present, so we're going to find out. Dave, great to see you as always, and I love the fact that you're showing your Macstock colors.
Yes, it's great to see you, Chuck. Thanks for having me. And every year I get excited. Yeah, I'm wearing a Macstock 2015. This was the first year of Macstock. I remember meeting you for the first time, and we've become great friends now. And I've made a lot of other great friends, and that's what most of the beauty of Macstock is. It's technically 10 years since Macstock started, but with pandemic years that kind of messed up a little bit of the sequence. But we're at Macstock 9, so that's where we're at here too. But yeah, I'm always going to show my colors, and very, very passionate about Macstock for sure.
Listen, it's hard not to be, because we've. And I get emails occasionally from people who say, well, yeah, but you guys are like a little clique, that it's all your friends. And it's like, there's a certain amount of truth to that, but it's not like it's a closed group. All you have to do is show up and you will be welcomed, and you will have friends. And, if you go to dinner alone at Macstock, it's your fault, because everybody is so friendly and welcoming. And I can't imagine not sharing the experience that we all have when we go there, because it starts early in the morning, it goes till late at night, long past the programming. Usually it ends up at the bar. So, yeah.
Plenty of times.
Yeah. But you've been a speaker now since the very first one. I would think you'd be running out of topics. What are you going to do this year?
No, I can never run out of topics, because my day job requires me to always be on top of things, as well as I like being on top of things, because I'm very passionate about Apple and technology. So this year I'm going to, and I did this presentation at work too, not similar, but it's going to be a lot different, because it's going to be obviously Apple focused. I made the title Exploring Apple Screen Capture Tools. I'm going to be sharing knowledge with images and videos. So there are so many great, powerful screen capturing programs. I know everybody knows the standard tools that's built into Mac OS, but I'm going to go over and not necessarily just talk about that, but some of the biggest applications that are out there. My favorite is Snagit, and we're also going to talk about video, which is they also offer Camtasia. I've been a user of both those products for quite a long time, so we're going to dabble into that. But I'm also going to give options too. Talk about some of the other applications out there that is out there, such as CleanShot X, and there's also a number of others that I'll probably hit on as well, just to kind of give a comparison of what to expect. And I stuck with the theme share. That's what Macstock's theme that was for this year. So how fitting that I'm going to be able to share, sharing screenshots, sharing videos, and sharing this content. That's what we do all the time when we do screenshots, because we want to share something to be able to provide that information much easier than having to type it out.
This is a really interesting topic, because I think that more so than ever, we are taking the information that is visually presented to us on our screens, whether it's still images or video, as you said, and needing to communicate that, to utilize that whether it's capturing something for a PowerPoint presentation or preferably a keynote presentation, or just, dropping something into an email to show somebody maybe a particular part of a document or a particular section of a web page. So that it sounds like, at first blush, it might sound a little bit simplistic because, I already know how to do that. But you're right. I've played with a lot of the screen capture tools, and a lot of them, for something as basic as screen capture, they take a lot of different approaches.
They do. And, I'm certified using TechSmith is the company that owns Snagit and Camtasia. So I became certified with that. I mean, not a big deal with that other than just having knowledge of the product. And I tell you, I've done many presentations about it in the past, and there's so much power that Snagit can do beyond what you're used to. If everybody thinks of a screenshot, oh, that's a simple thing. I look on the Windows side of things, Microsoft has the absolutely worst tool, and it's called the snipping tool, and it's just archaic. And we use it in our company too. We make Snagit as the standard. People still go to the snipping tool because they don't want to learn how to use a great product in Snagit. So call outs, being able to capture things in a way, there's times when you want to go into a menu, and when you click the menu and then you initiate the screen capture, trying to capture that. I'll be showing you ways of how you can do that and be able to capture what you're actually wanting to show. Because a lot of times the window disappears, and oh my God, how do I capture that? So that's where these tools come into play and are very powerful in how they do it. So I'll be dabbling into a lot of that stuff and having you much more of a comprehensive way of understanding and how to use these tools.
Yeah, we always ask the speakers when they come on Road to Macstock that we want to talk about your presentation. We don't want you to give it.
Right.
And so sometimes it's really difficult to sort of talk around the presentation. But yeah, I can't believe you said about snippet or the snipping tool, because I was on a conference call just this week, and somebody said, "Well, just take a screenshot of it." The other person said, "Well, I don't know how." And I said, "Just use the the snippet." And it's like, "Oh, please, no, not that." Yeah. So, I love the fact that at least some of what you'll be showing us can be utilized for those folks who do work cross-platform, or maybe get to use a Mac at home but have to use something else at the office. Without again digging too much into things,
yep.
How much video are you going to show? Excuse me. How many video tools are you going to show, and where do you see video fitting into this?
Because I have 45 minutes to provide my talk, if I were to do both sides of this coin with the capture tools like Snagit, like CleanShot X, and like the built-in Apple tools, I'll be definitely showing that, because some people forget what the shortcuts are, how powerful that tool can be as well, but not anywhere near as powerful what Snagit can do. And I don't mean to be tooting the horn about Snagit. I'm very passionate about using it, and I think it's a good product. But on the video side of things, I'm going to touch a little bit on Camtasia. I think video in itself, or video capture, is probably a whole nother presentation by itself, because there are so many other tools out there that are available that you can do to do a lot of screen capturing with that. And I think Camtasia does stand out as far as doing these types of needs for video capture, because it not only does it include what you do in like something like Final Cut and other video editing tools, but the tools that these other applications have and Camtasia namely can do so much more, because you can Snagit and Camtasia work hand in hand with each other. You can definitely get all that stuff into the one tool, as opposed to sometimes with Final Cut or iMovie, you might have to add more things and do a lot more steps. The integration with those two tools is very key for its smooth use, and it just takes a bit to learn it. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I ask about the video because you brought up Final Cut. If you are into video editing, you can do a lot of that, because what's a screen capture except a movie? But if you're not into that, if you're not really fluent in Final Cut or even iMovie, capturing something, the moving images off a screen can be a little daunting, and yet it's an incredible tool. But on the other hand, so is capturing just whatever you want to in a still image. And there's so much more than you can do with it than just, because I don't know about you, but I watch people capture their whole screen and send it to somebody. And it's like, first of all, nobody wants to see my messy desktop. But more importantly, what might you be showing them that you really didn't intend to show them? That's always
there's
a danger.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of value in learning these tools. And it's one more tool in your toolbox.
It is. Some of the key features that Camtasia does, what I'll tell you is, and I'll just, again, I'm not doing my presentation, just kind of give you the bullet points, a couple of bullet points is the screen recording, video editing, and annotations, callouts. You can do all that in most video editing programs, but just the way it does it with the transitions, effects, all that stuff. It does, allows you to do some quizzes, interactivity, so you can create clickable hotspots, quizzes, that kind of engagement. And easy to export into any format, so you can put it onto YouTube or Vimeo or any other cloud service. So that kind of just sums up what those that tool and any other type of tool that's similar to that Camtasia that does. So there's that as well. But integration is key, and that makes it so much easier.
Yeah, the integration part, because again, you're what I do in Final Cut, I do in Final Cut. What you do right inside Camtasia. You're not having to jump between 2 and 3 and 4 tools, and that makes a big difference.
Exactly, and that I hear some people say, I'm not a big fan of Camtasia. I'm not a big fan of Snagit. But once you see my presentation, I might have some folks lean over to the side and maybe I should give this a try, because they'll have trials. You can try them out and see if it fits for you. Their licensing is so reasonable. I mean, I'm on maintenance agreements and I pay less than $100 for both of them each year because it's a subscription, which of course, but it's more of a maintenance agreement. So their licensing is pretty fair considering. But that's the thing. It is something that you can learn, but it takes a bit. And what other great thing is TechSmith has amazing. It has absolutely amazing training. They provide their own training too, and you can watch they have all kinds of training sessions that you can attend, and that's one other thing that TechSmith does that gives you that. So again, I don't want to start diving into my presentation here, but just kind of standing out why I'm talking about it. Now, I did mention CleanShot X. I have been dabbling with that a little bit. That application gives you some other options, but I'll save that for the presentation when it comes to that one.
Yeah, it's funny because when you brought up those two programs, I think I've tried them both in the past, and it was like, okay, that's nice, but then I realized how many years ago that was, and
long time.
If you think about how every piece of software that you used a number of years ago, how it's evolved and use it now, we probably all should go back and retake a look at some things that maybe we overlooked or developed opinions about back when, as opposed to the way they are now. Because the very fact that they're still around says a lot, that they've garnered an audience and they've kept up with the times.
They really have, and they're a U.S.-based company. They're in the Midwest. They're in Michigan, so their support is top notch. When you need something, they have a community that backs that up, with folks asking questions all the time about using the product. So they've done. I mean, it was a small time product. You go back probably about 20 years ago, but it's come a long way. And again, I'm not trying to focus just on that. The presentation is going to spin on all the tools, and you can make a good decision of which ones you think is good. Some people may be fine with what Apple has with the built-in tools. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to review because people always forget the shortcuts. That's always the biggest trouble with the built-in tools that Mac OS has. But we've got cheat sheets out there, and who knows, I might even provide a cheat sheet that allows you to do similar type of editing, but nowhere near as advanced with what Snagit can do. And again, there's so many other things I can say, but like I said, I want to save it for the presentation and be able to give you the hands-on of what it can do and how you can make it much more efficient. Because there's so many other tools out there. I wanted to really to keep the timing right. I could have added some more tools that are out there that do very similar things, but I think really these all stand out to what works really well on the Mac. And TextMix products also work on Windows too, so it's both they're cross-platform. Which, again, I'm on both platforms, so I use it on both platforms. So, and it's kind of interesting to see how they do it. And for a while, the version on Windows on Mac was kind of different than what Windows has. And we've seen that with Microsoft, with Office. I mean, Office was so different on the Mac versus the PC. And now it's just about in symmetry to what, as far as both products do it. This product did the same thing. So.
And, I was going to ask you about that when you were talking about it being cross-platform, because it's, you're right. At some point in the past, a lot of programs, you felt like you were having to learn two programs, because they were so different. And now things have really converged so that it doesn't matter which platform you're on, you get to use the tool of your choice, and the experience is to a large degree identical.
It is. And just the other thing I'm going to dive into is just where is a good place to use these products, doing screen captures. When do you really need to do it? You'll hear me talk about that. What does these products do for you? And I'm not just going to just be giving you all kinds of features of what this product does. My goal is to actually have you learn what screen capturing is for you and what video capturing is for you, and you take away what you can from what I do when I have my talk.
So Mike Potter has given all the speakers and some others discount codes so that you can save some money on attending Macstock. And I want to make sure that you get a chance to tell everyone what your code is so that they know and they can take advantage of it. So to save $50 on attending Macstock, Dave's code is
In Touch 50 for my podcast, In Touch with iOS. And if you use that in the cart, you'll have a coupon code there. You will definitely save $50, and that'll tell Mike that I sent you.
That's perfect. So my code is MacVoices. Surprise. I don't care whose code you use. Use Dave's, use mine, use any of the speakers we have on Road to Macstock. But get there. Go ahead. Make your hotel reservations now. Make your plane reservations or however else you're getting there, and come, because we always have a ball. You learn so much. You make great new friends. You meet old friends if you've been there before. There's no good reason not to come to Macstock. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year, and I love it, and I can't wait.
Too.
So with that, Dave, obviously the best place to catch up with you if people have questions or want to toss questions at you now before the presentation is
go to my website, which is intouchwithios.com, and you can email me. Our email address is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can reach out to me on most social media. I'm primarily on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. That'd be the best ways to reach out to me.
Perfect. Dave, I will see you at Macstock. Well, we'll be talking once or twice before then.
We might.
Yeah, we might. But I'm looking forward, as always, to seeing you again in person and seeing all our friends and just having a ball.
Me too. I can't wait.
See you then. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices on the road to Macstock. Once more, Dave's code is InTouch50. Mine is MacVoices50. Use whatever code, or don't use a code. I don't care. Just come to Macstock. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.